The holiday season has always been a time of special traditions. Recently, Gretchen Bates met a Brentwood man who's been sharing his for more than 30 years. And after you meet Bill Manasseh, you might want to make a visit to his place, a holiday tradition of your own.
I'm almost tempted to replace that switch, too.
Bill Manasseh really gets into the holiday spirit. This Brentwood resident is so dedicated to putting on the best Christmas display in town that he starts planning a year in advance. Something you wouldn't expect from a native Californian.
Well, you know, I grew up in Southern California back in the 50s, and decorating was a big deal, you know. So I always decorated pretty heavily back in those days. And when my son came along and we moved here, first thing he says, "Dad, let's put up lights."
And boy, did they ever. 132,000 of them, to be exact. But not just lights. According to Bill, there's something even more important to a good light show than the lights.
My philosophy is the figures that make the show, and the lights just add to it. So I've got about 400 figures and about 132,000 lights. Well, seasonal outline, design for the next year starts right now. But I actually really start working on the figures about September. I bring them into my workshop one at a time and go through all the lights on them and retape them. That takes about a month and a half, doing about 8 or 9 figures a night as it goes through. Start putting them out 1st of November. Takes me 3 weeks. And they go on Thanksgiving Day.
After Bill has replaced the bulbs and taped the lights and run the cords, it's time for the light show to begin. Darkness falls and the magic of the season comes alive.
Merry Christmas!
Christmas Eve is far and away my biggest night. Last year we lost count at about 1,000 cars, and that was about 9:15. So you can imagine how busy it is. One night alone, you're talking about almost 4,000 people will come through. Oh yeah, it's fun. It really is.
Families, church groups, couples young and old, all come from miles around to walk through Bill's winter wonderland. But it just wouldn't be Christmas without you-know-who.
Santa comes usually the week before Christmas. Last year he gave out, I think it was 1,800 candy canes, and he was only here 6 days. We have a great time with Santa, and I have a wonderful Santa. Christmas to me is for the kids. You know, they're the ones that really enjoy it, so I try to make sure I got a lot of stuff for the kids.
You like all the lights?
For Bill, Christmas is a time to make children smile. It all started with his own son, BJ, for whom there could never be too many lights.
We got here on Thanksgiving. I said, it's a little late this year, but the next year we started, like 10,000 lights or something like that. And he kept saying, "We need lights over there, Dad. We need lights over there. Dad, we need more lights," you know. And he worked with me for about 6-7 years on it before he died in an auto accident. And he's still out here with me. You know, every year I figure I got 2 months I get to spend with him. And I can't tell you how many times when I've gone to put something somewhere and something in the back of my mind says, "Not here, over there." And it's him talking to me. So it keeps his memory alive. You know, really when you basically come down to parents that have lost a child, the biggest negative factor is people don't want to talk about them because they think it hurts you. It's just the opposite. Everyone I've talked to would like to hear the name of their child showing somebody remembered, and this is my way of making sure he's remembered. And I get little kids coming up here and says, "Yeah, I'm here to see BJ's lights." And that's great. That's what I'm looking for.
Not only do BJ's lights keep his memory alive, the people that come to see the lights also contribute to saving the lives of many children.
Well, from day one, I've had people ask me if they could donate to the lights. And the lights are my gift to the kids in Nashville. About 8 years ago, I said, "Well, put out a box for the Shrine Hospitals." I'm a Shriner, I donate to them all the time. So we put out the box 8 years ago, and this year, we will end up with a total of 50,000 in 8 years that's going to the Shrine Hospitals. It's just outstanding. We get a lot of donations.
For Bill, it's all about the figures.
My emphasis really is, like I said, is on the figures. My goal is to always add a couple every year. This is my 32nd year. When I started out, it was just this house, and my son and I really decorated, and my neighbor said, "Well, put a few lights on my house." And then the next neighbor says, "Well, what about mine?" And the same thing. So I got 8.5 houses. It's worked out well. I get to use their electricity, so I always can add lights. I used up my electricity a long time ago. this is awful big. You know, I'm decorating almost 3 acres here.
With 3 acres and 8.5 yards full of everything from lighted dragons to palm trees, it's hard to pick a favorite. There are so many to see and admire.
I've got several favorites that I really like. I've got one over there that's a dragon. Actually, I've got 2 dragons. And then people say, well, why do you got a dragon out here? I said, because I really like it. It looks neat. I love the cannon, and I love the helicopter. You know, there's a number of things that just really catch my attention. And other things are like scenes, like my kids' scene down here with the houses and swings and all that kind of stuff is kind of neat. How many places can you go and see so many different figures, make so many kids happy, and be able to get out and walk through it? You know, it's just so much fun to be out here with all these folks.
Merry Christmas, folks.
You just need to stand down there one evening with me and talk to the people coming up and see all the kids with the smiles on their face running up the driveway to know why I do it. It wouldn't be Christmas for me if I couldn't be walking the streets on December.